Reinhardt is, without a doubt, one of the most important heroes, if not the most important hero on your team in Overwatch, and has been since the game released last year. While he isn't needed as much on King of the Hill maps, he's still one of the most picked heroes currently in the game, and for good reason too. The majority of the maps and their choke points are literally designed around his shield. I still think that if you're playing without a Reinhardt, you're automatically at a huge disadvantage, especially on defense. This Sunday we'll be talking about Reinhardt, his shield, and how to not be a retarded sorry excuse for a human fucking being.
Greetings.
So if Reinhardt is so good, how come every time you pick him, you still feel like you're getting your ass handed to you? I'll tell you why. It's because your team is filled with fucking underage children and DPS mains with tunnel vision who can't capitalize on the situation. See, here's the thing. I learned that you can't fix stupidity, so you better get used to it. Trust me, my ex-girlfriend thought that the moon and the sun were the same thing. Enough of that cock-swinging whore. Let's move on to how to use Reinhardt's shield. Reinhardt players, your job is to stick to your team. You need to be in front of them at all times. This doesn't mean that you should overextend from a choke point just to be in front of the rest of your team though. In my honest opinion, once they start sitting in front of the choke point, the game's practically over already, so there's no point in trying to protect them. I mean, if you really want to kinda, sorta, maybe by some miracle win, just babysit your support players. Now, everyone else on YouTube is probably insisting that you tell the team to get behind you, or at least get behind the choke, but come on, do you seriously think anyone's gonna listen to you? They got better things to do, like pretend they're carrying the game with their gold limbs at 2, and then boast afterwards because they think they're gonna make a career out of the most casualized FPS game in the last 20 years. Sorry, went off on another little rant there. Basically, to summarize, you should always try to get between the enemy and your team as much as you can. The more damage that you take with your shield, the less damage your teammates take. Your job is to literally suck up all the damage. Also, don't be afraid to take a few hits with your shield down. Just make sure that you don't die. You want to get your support characters like Mercy to heal you constantly so they can build ult charge quickly. Listen, you will be getting hit. A lot. Get used to it. Live it, love it. I guarantee after a while you'll be ending up wanting to eat bullets for breakfast without any milk. Now let's move on to shield management. When your shield is about to break, you need to let your team know. If someone is behind you, which should always be the case, don't drop your fucking shield. Start walking out of the enemy line of sight while keeping it up. If your teammates weren't dropped on their heads as a baby, aren't high as fuck, or in general have some sort of brain functionality, they'll see you doing this and back off. Honestly, if they don't even notice the shield cracking, they deserve to die. If they do, make sure you tell them that they're a fucking idiot. Realistically, you should never let your shield break. Not many people know this, but your shield will actually recover its energy faster if you lower it while it's at low health instead of letting it break. Once it breaks, not only do you have to wait for the energy to recover, but you have to wait for Rein's cooldown to reset. Yes, his shield does have a cooldown. Do not ever, times infinity ever, let your shield break, ever. You can let it hit 1 HP. Don't let it hit 0. I can't stress this enough. Now what do you do when you're Reinhardt and there's an enemy Reinhardt? Should you find yourself up against an enemy Reinhardt, beg your team to shoot at his shield. I noticed that a lot of people will not focus the enemy shield as long as it's up because they're too busy trying to pick off people behind it while they wait for an opening. This is a big mistake. You want to focus the shield. The only time you should ever want a shield to break is if it's not your own. If everyone on your team damages the shield, guess what? The shield breaks faster. Do you know what this means, kids? It means now the enemy Reinhardt is either trying to get away or is fucking dead because he tried solo charging you. Now, this may blow your mind, but I have a secret Blizzard insider pro tip straight from Jeff Kaplan himself about Reinhardt's shield. I managed to bump into him at Starbucks last week, and when I asked him if he had any secrets about Reinhardt, this is what he had to say.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff from the Overwatch team. Just hanging out with my best friend here, Syberbolt, at our local Starbucks. He told me that he has a shitty YouTube channel and asked me if I could let you guys in on a little secret about Reinhardt. Well, to be honest, there's something we've actually never came out and said to the public, and it's something that's really, really cool. So, let's say that you have a friendly Reinhardt on your team, and you're standing behind his shield. Not many people know about this, but you can actually shoot through the shield to damage your opponents.
Jeff, isn't that common sense?
How dare you assume the average Overwatch player's intelligence? Shame on you.
But seriously, how fucking brain dead do people have to be to think that they can't shoot through your own Reinhardt's shield? I just don't understand. Are people afraid they're gonna damage it? Is it because they can't see through a transparent barrier? I've been wearing the same fucking glasses for 5 years. They're literally falling apart and I'm blind as shit, but I can still see through it. And why do people keep on peeking through the front of the fucking shield? Just stand behind it, seriously, like goddamn, it's a big blue rectangle of protection. It's not that hard to miss. It literally takes up most of the fucking area that you're in, and you have trouble finding a way to stand behind it? Listen, tighten a noose around your dick and go jump off the nearest bridge. You'd be doing everybody a favor. That's it for this week. You know it's bad when you have to make a video basically about common sense, but hey, a lot of people still lack this, even in the real world. Please leave a like if you thought I was somewhat entertaining, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content in the future. I currently upload one video every Sunday, which means you won't be bombarded with low quality clickbait or speculation videos. Stalosa. Thanks for watching. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go back up the 19,507 hentai pictures I saved on my phone. We don't want those to become corrupted now, do we? And with that, I'll see you next week. Later.